My name is Joyce Totten, and I'm an assistant professor with the School of Nursing and Midwifery. I am originally from the Maritimes, and I've been living in Golden since 2015. One highlight from my summer would be going actually to Heritage Park. I've never been there before. I'm not from Calgary, and it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. So I started my post-secondary education at Dalhousie University in Halifax, and I did my residency at Sick Kids in Toronto. I did my PharmD through the University of Calgary, and I did some certificate training, diplomas through the University of Northern British Columbia, the University of British Columbia, and I did my midwifery degree through Laurentian University. So I feel like it's really important to go to as many universities as possible. I'm just joking. It's not important, but lots and lots of different places. So I do lots of things outside for my wellness. I do lots of outdoor activities. I'm a new to running runner, and I've been training last year I did a half ultra, and this year I'm doing a full ultra. I also do biking, skiing, downhill, and cross country. I like to paddleboard, and I also like to CrossFit. So I'm one of those obnoxious people who talks about CrossFit sometimes. I would pick my Training Peaks app, where I keep track of my training, as well as my app that I use to log my CrossFit workouts. As I mentioned, obnoxious. And then my last app would have to just be my main email organizer, where I have all the different email accounts that I have come into one account, so I can see everything together. Part of that app is like the calendar, the contacts, everything. I don't know what I'd do. If I ever lost that app, I honestly don't know what I'd do with my life.
I am Gail Crockford. I am an assistant professor with the School of Nursing and Midwifery. I think the biggest highlight is actually moving to Calgary. So we've been in Nunavut for the past 2 years. So it's nice to be coming to a city where we can settle down in, and I have 3 older kids. So they're all looking forward to getting involved in the school and kind of settling down. We do tend to move quite often. So they're excited to know that this is a place that they can call home till retirement. A lot of differences, yes. Yeah, Nunavut is completely different than living what they call the South. So that is the Arctic, and then everything else is the South, it seems like, when you're there, and it's totally different style of living. The great thing about living in Nunavut was we did have lots and lots of family time. There's not nearly as many activities and events always happening and stuff. So it was nice just to be kind of isolated sometimes in our home a little bit, just it slowed our family down, kind of made us reevaluate our perspectives and our priorities in life. So it was good that way, and definitely a lot colder. So the past 2 years we were in Iqaluit, Nunavut. And so while I was there, I was a public health nurse. It was my last job. So I was working with the COVID response team, doing lots of vaccinations, lots of education, lots of contact tracing, and just getting information out into the public. So COVID up there was very different because we had 0 cases for a very long time. And we just this past winter had our first case. And so that was the time where I onboarded onto public health because they needed a lot more support at that time. And then, but before that, I was teaching at Nunavut Arctic College in their School of Nursing. So I was there for 2 semesters before I moved over to public health. Oh, I didn't actually prep for this one very well. I think mostly for my own wellness, the way I kind of recover, get rid of stress is just to be outside. So I love being in nature. I love being outside. I love exploring, and I love playing with my kids outside. They're all into different sports. So we're playing tennis or basketball every night, bike riding. My daughter and I run together. So it's just being active outside, going into the mountains. We were in BC before that, So we had lots of time on our bikes, on snowboards and skis. So we were there 12 years before we moved to Nunavut. And also I was teaching out at Selkirk College in BC too, to go back to that one question of what I was doing before I came to MRU. So I was teaching at their School of Nursing in Selkirk College too. But yeah, I think that that's the best thing for me, than just hanging out with my friends and family. So I have different times. I read different types of books. So if you look at around my house, I'll have probably one for the morning, one for during the day, and then my evening reading. So my morning reading is usually kind of like a self-help or learning something new. So right now I'm reading a book called, what is it called? I wrote it down. The New Rules of Aging Well. So now that I'm in my mid-40s, I find a lot of changes in my body. And so I am learning a little bit more about aging well currently. So that's my morning read. My afternoon read is usually to do with work. So I'm reading right now Uncommon Sense Teaching, which is a really great book by Dr. Barbara Oakley. She also does like a Coursera workshop on this book. And it's just learning a lot more about brain science and how learners learn. And so good, effective ways to teach. And then lastly, when I go to sleep, I usually always read some sort of fiction. And currently I'm actually reading some of my kids' books because they're just easy, nice reads. And I'm reading The Tales of Magic right now, which is by Chris Colfer, because I read the series to the kids when they were little on his first series. And so now we're reading the second series.
My name is Catherine Bright, and I'm an assistant professor in the School of Nursing and Midwifery. Well, every summer we go up to Sylvan Lake with my sister, her family, and then my other sister and her family. So it's a full house, but it's lots of fun. I started at Mount Royal when I was at college. So I completed my diploma in nursing there. And then I transferred to U of C, and I completed my nursing degree there. And I did my master's and PhD also at U of C. The last 20 years I've been working with Alberta Health Services. So I started originally on an inpatient mental health unit. I worked there for about 8 years, and then I moved into Psych Emerge services. And about 2012, I moved into an outpatient clinic where we focus on mental health for women who are either pregnant or postpartum. And that's where I've been now for the last 10 years. I'm reading a book. It's called Unreconciled, and it's about family, truth, and Indigenous resistance. I think that what I really like about the book is it's just genuine storytelling at the beginning, and then it goes into giving some solutions on what we can be doing.
My name is Holly Johnson, and I am an assistant professor in the School of Nursing and Midwifery. I was gifted a cabin rental in the wilderness in Ontario with all of my family, my folks, my brother, my children, my nieces and nephews. It was a surprise, and so we are about to spend a very lovely week all together after 2 long years of COVID. So I actually have a couple of different schools that I went to. I graduated with a Bachelor of Arts from the University of Manitoba, and then followed by a Bachelor of Nursing from the University of Manitoba and a Master of Nursing also from the University of Manitoba. And most recently, I just graduated from a MBA, Executive MBA program at the University of Calgary. So because I have an interest, obviously in nursing, but as well some business background, I'm trying to keep my feet sort of in both areas. So I am reading a book right now. I have it here in front of me. It's called Barbarians at the Gate, The Fall of RJR Nabisco. And it is very business-based, something like the movie Wall Street. I am very much into running and biking at the reservoir. It's one of my favorite places and close to home. And I try to do yoga once a week at the minimum. And my goal is to try and swim once a week at the MRU pool.